Hello there everybody, Oimon here, and welcome back to the Talos Principle 2. So, when we last left off, we were here in the 9th overall area, and the 3rd of the southern regions, and we pretty much finished it. We've been up to the tower, as you can see the giant arse green laser shooting off to the horizon over there. And the only thing I had left to do was to find one of the stars, which is the one over in that thing. And what I needed to do was to find a little red laser to go shooting off into that box. You may remember that we got a red laser to go up to the little thing over there after shooting a blue laser into the tower itself, which went quite well. But then I could not work this out. I couldn't work it out, and I spent a little bit of time running around after the stream, because I didn't want to waste too much of your guys' actual sort of live time. Still couldn't work it out. And then in the evening, I went back over my footage over yesterday's, well, not yesterday's, but the last stream, and I actually just noticed it. It was something that was on screen for like a second, a blink and you'll miss it. And I think it's a bit cheeky, because I get the feeling, I think I know what happened. And I've been to the place where it is just to double check that I didn't like hallucinate or something. So I am going to solve this for you right now. What happened was this. I was running around number 3 thinking, well, it's the closest one. Like, it's the only one that's got decent line of sight. But there was no laser redirector in there. There's nothing like that. It was just a couple of boxes and a teleporter, and that was about it. Yeah, that's technically true. Except over in this fucking corner, where there's just a random connector. Based on this, like there's that thing on the floor. I don't know if this was always visible, like before I solved the puzzle. It may open up literally afterwards, which I think is a bit of a douchey thing to do, but whatever. Anyway, we can hopefully get this into a decent position. Don't know exactly where I need to be. God damn it. That's a bit cheeky. That I feel is a little naughty. Because like having a secret item that only reveals itself after you've solved the puzzle, so you assume there's nothing else there. That I feel is crossing a line into just being a little bit naughty. But it is what it is. We got the star. That's what I was looking for.
There is no tool that is not also a weapon, and no human that would not wield it as one.
Are there tools that are also not weapons? I mean, you'd probably have real trouble killing somebody with a straw. Just saying. You know? Just throwing it out there. Okay, anyway, we're done with that. So now we can speed off back to the hub. We'll nip into the VTOL apparently. Okay, and then we only got 3 sections left. Speeding along.
You all know I don't share Byron's enthusiasm for the megastructure. I don't know if the founder really intended for us to be here, and I certainly don't trust this Prometheus entity. But Byron is one of us, and we don't leave people behind. So we're finding Prometheus and freeing him, whether Pandora likes it or not. Here's how this mission is going to go. 1K, it's clear to me that you have some kind of special affinity for this place, and that the entities respond to you more strongly than they do to us. So, once you're inside, I want you to take point. Do whatever you need to free Prometheus, but remember that our prime objective is to save our friend. Melville, I want you to stay at the VTOL and let Yakut and 1K go in. I'm going to stay behind as protocol requires. I don't love the idea of sitting this one out. Byron is my oldest friend, but we're doing this by the book.
I think that's fair. I mean, what happened to Byron was kind of on his own head. He was the one who went running off ahead of everything, and like, I knew something bad was going to happen. You can just tell. Oh, there's the next set. There's the red. Oh, there it is. It's a little further down. Yep, that's the southern set. I think I do want to just very, very quickly. Somewhere over here-ish. Pop all these stars in place. Might as well, while I'm here, while I'm thinking about it. Lovely. And then there were 6. Just one area left. Well, you know, one region, I should say, not area. Obviously, then we still got the golden doors to do, but we have to complete all the other puzzles before we can get into the golden doors. We still got a lot to do, and they're still throwing new stuff at us. It's really nuts. It's like in the Talos Principle 1. Essentially, you had your starting items, which was like the boxes and the buttons. You had your lasers, just generally speaking. Although no, actually no, you didn't have boxes. You had your jammer. That was it. The starting one was the jammer, and you had switches technically, like wall switches, not big buttons on the floor. But yeah, you didn't have. Yeah, you didn't have your boxes and you didn't have your lasers. Those were items that were introduced. And that's kind of the thing, is that, like, Talos Principle introduced basically 5 things. You had your boxes, you had your laser redirectors, and lasers themselves, obviously. You had your platforms? Was the platform an item? I can't remember now. God, it's been a while since I played Talos Principle 1. But you definitely had your rewind boxes. That was a thing, at least I think it was. What was the other one you had? God, I'm actually trying to remember now. But you only had like 5 items that were introduced as puzzle elements, you know? So it was very much a thing of like only a few new elements that were then like mixed and remixed over and over again. But in this one, I really feel like they've just kept introducing new elements to keep things fresh. Even though if they haven't like necessarily explored all they can do with every item, because we haven't seen a huge amount of crossover either. Like, there's been some, but they've kept it to a minimum, and I kind of like that.
All
we'll
right,
see.
I'm taking us in. Let's hope we can find the big guy.
Really both. With the excuse me. With you know, in the first game, the puzzles in the last area got very hard. Like, very hard. Not insurmountable, but took longer, definitely. Here we go. See what we can find. Good luck. All right. Apparently I can just move faster than he can. coming? Oh, there he is. Alright, where are you gonna go? Oh, there's another one of those elevators. I suppose you're going down there, aren't you? You get to take the quick route. Because you're lucky. I better go the long way and solve all the puzzles. Good luck with that. Okay. We got that there. That seems to go off forward, so what's down the other way? Because I don't want to miss a place for... Ah, that's what I'm looking for. I don't know if you will see this. You've become even more distant from the affairs of New Jerusalem than I have. Blank misses speaking to you and Cornelius, and I fear that some of your estrangement is my own fault. I know things are not as you wish them to be, and the city is drifting away from that bold vision you established. That's not because of your leadership or lack thereof. You did not fail, I did. I know I've said this before, but New Alexandria disaster was my fault. I'm the one who took the initiative. I'm the one who made the mistake. Yes, there should have been procedures in place, but it was my role to create such procedures, Athena, not yours. I wish you had listened to Byron when he said that we had to establish other settlements immediately. Learn from the pain, don't let it fester. He was right. That's where the rot set in, and I'm sorry. I do think it's nice that she was still getting all these messages. Presumably she did read them. I would hope so, anyway. From Author's Note to Athena Reborn, a novel. If my work has meant something to you, if Athena had any kind of impact on you, if some story in Wonder Tales from the Periphery moved you or made you think, then there is something about myself that I need to share with you. It's the only autobiographical fact I have any interest in sharing, the only thing about me that matters to you outside of my work. Every breath that I take, and so every story that I write, is only possible because of technology. There are no natural remedies, no spiritual alternatives for what I was born with. My existence is wholly contingent upon a level of technological sophistication which was heretofore unimaginable, and which will in many ways define the coming era. When you long for a return to simpler times, you wish for a world in which I could not exist. If you are looking for answers, consider the fact that I was granted the blessing of this technology despite being born into poverty and my writing never having been particularly lucrative. The civilizational structures I lived within were arranged in such a way that this technology would be deployed to save my life. And are these structures not also, at the end of the day, a kind of machine? What is the state? What is civilization if not a machine? Think about what this means, what this is. Is it systemic compassion? Is it liberation from nature? Is it equal opportunity? Whatever your belief, think hard about what it means that I am alive because of these machines, and I have created something that matters to you. Thank you for reading. Interesting. All the towering mechanisms which dominate the modern mind rest ultimately upon one assumption, a false assumption. It is supposed that if a thing goes on repeating itself, it is probably dead, a piece of clockwork. People feel that if the universe was personal, it would vary. If the sun were alive, it would dance. This is a fallacy, even in relation to known fact. For the variation in human affairs is generally brought into them not by life, but by death, by the dying down or breaking off of their strengths or desire. A man varies his movements because some slight element of failure or fatigue. But perhaps God is strong enough to exult in monotony. It is possible that God says every morning, "Do it again," to the sun, and every evening, "Do it again" to the moon. It may not be automatic necessity that makes all deities alike. It may be that God makes every deity separately, but has never got tired of making them. It may be that he has the eternal appetite of infancy, for we have sinned and grown old, and our Father is younger than we. It's strange. The idea is delightful, but also completely and obviously untrue. That's one of the many reasons Chesterton is worth reading. He's wrong about a lot of things, but he's wrong about them in an interesting way. Such a shame, though. He seems to want to restore the magic of the world, but he can only re-enchant the surface, whereas true magic, truly beautiful, that feels like revelation, is found underneath what he dismisses as clockwork. Day 680. New Jerusalem. That's the name that we picked. I am sad that my suggestion didn't win, maybe a little, but it's a good name, a fitting name, a name we can be proud of. With it comes a new kind of optimism. Everyone is thinking of the future once more. I, for one, am glad that we recovered our equilibrium and our determination. Athelia and Cornelius are certainly bustling with plans and bright visions of the future, and when they tell us these dreams of theirs, it's hard not to be drawn in by the pretty pictures they paint. Speaking of which, I'm becoming more and more fascinated with human art, and think about our own role in taking the next step in that long history. Citizens of Guyana found meaning in art, and they were imprisoned. Free people should be able to accomplish so much more. That's a nice theory, I suppose. You'd be surprised how many free people don't even bother with that kind of art. Go in this one.
Yay! I found another elevator. My favorite. Once again, I have no idea where I am. No sign of Prometheus so far. Hope you're doing better, 1K.
Not particularly. Even know where I am, as you say. Just another elevator going down. These look like giant Tesla coils. Like power generation or power storage, perhaps? Well, need to look up. Oh, okay, no, we're doing this.
I know I've said this before, but look at the size of this. How can all of this be one machine?
This is what you get when one machine builds a bigger machine, which builds an even bigger machine.
That's our whole history, isn't it? The whole history of humankind. And it's not just machines. It's science, it's literature. Knowledge builds on knowledge.
All science is built on the shoulders of giants. Not here. No handholding. A lot of water. So yeah, this is power generation. Because these seem a lot like the things that were overloading in that lab before. And now I'm a bit worried they're going to start overloading again. Because that can't be a good thing. Trippy a little bit. We must be going down very fast for that to be a thing. Sorry, I'm staring at the floor because that was quite disorientating. Oh! Oh, hey, I know you from the title.
Be careful, 1K. We don't know what's down there.
Prometheus, I would guess. Pull the lever. No good, huh? Remove Prometheus's chain pins. Okay. Well, let's see what we got. If I'm gonna have to take a guess, more puzzles. Okay, let's get going. Okay, what is that? Surprising amount of light. Wow. That's a big fucking chain. Okay, well, time to backtrack, I suppose. Funny how that was just like environmental puzzles. It wasn't like I had to... it wasn't like I had to actually solve a little... Oh god, that was close, I almost jumped off there. That would not have been fun. Actually, no, there is a thing underneath there that looked like water, but that probably wouldn't have been very good for me. Actually, I probably would have been okay. Although it might have stung a bit. Actually, I don't even think my characters can feel pain. Oh, there's two. Ooh. Alright. Back to where I was before. All right. Probably gonna be successful. Okay. A very loud beat. Hey! Wait, what's that?
I don't think you can get up here, 1K. Guess I'll have to do a puzzle after all. It can't be that hard, right? It's not like everyone is depending on me.
Well, that's a shame. I wanted to pull out the giant bolt. Yeah, all that trouble for bloody nothing. I do kind of like that though, that it's like, yeah, you've got to do most of this yourself.
This has to connect over here, then wait. If I do this and then that, what?
Excuse me. Yeah, that sounds about
I
right.
did it! Wow! I feel really smart. Also, never doing that again.
I do like all the characters in this game. They are so well developed and rounded. It's really good fun. Alright, up here. Woo! Oh, your arms are free. So this is just a really big statue. Is there supposed to be a Prometheus entity in it then? Or is this more symbolic? Because Prometheus got sealed away right at the start. Like, he showed up, he announced, hey, you need to get your ass over to this island, well, indirectly. And then you like, oh no, Pandora's sealing me away. And then we came over to the island, and we got Pandora and the Sphinx were talking to us. Yeah, I specifically left this one for last because this is his head, or more accurately, his neck. Let's see, is it his neck? No, this one changed his body. I think the front one changed his neck. Damn it. Not what I expected. Okay. Continuing on. Okay, where the hell am I connecting this one up to? Because I'm honestly not sure. I'm assuming over there, but there's usually like a pretty obvious block thing. Maybe not. Okay, now I'm just even more bloody confused. that works. That would explain it. I was thinking about it the wrong way. That's fine. What that? Hang on, let's see. Oh, excuse me. Okay, what's the point of this? Route over here, but why? Is this just the way back up again? No, that's just the way back up again. Hey, Kane! Welcome, welcome. You haven't missed much. I solved the star thing from last time, and then back into the pyramid. You haven't missed much in terms of story. Although, we'll say, giant our statue of Prometheus, who we are now undoing the chains on, and setting him free, because that will apparently help Byron. Apparently. So we are being told. That's a lot of chains. Alright. Let's see what happens next. I don't know why you expected this part to be less literal. Yeah, I do wonder if this is more symbolic than anything else. But, no, apparently we are literally just breaking the chains.
I thank you, Son of Man, for breaking my chains. Too long has the flame been hidden by fear and mystery. It is time to put away these childish things and for you to know the truth of the Alpha and the Omega, of the beginning and the end. I will send you visions of the truth, but remember that prophecies are a heavy burden.
Uh-oh.
New Jerusalem sounds like such a beautiful place. So, how did you decide to leave? I know what we're trying to accomplish here, and I believe in it. But for you, New Jerusalem was home. What changed that?
It took me a long time to realize that something was wrong. Oh, I'd noticed that something was off, that something had changed since the early days, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. So I ignored it. And then one day I woke up to realize I was no longer Athena. Instead, I had been transformed into the Founder, a remote figure of legend, mythologized in my own time.
But if it bothered you, couldn't you just talk to them? If you share the truth with someone, they should change their mind, shouldn't they?
Oh, I wished it worked that way, Miranda, I really do, but I barely knew the last generations. In the beginning, I was there for every birth. I explained our history, talked about our future, but at some point, I got so busy building that future that I lost touch. They thought of me as a remote figure because that's what I was.
But can you change that?
I tried, but they already saw me as the Founder. The myth was too powerful, and it was already taking on a life of its own. I'd set a goal of 1,000 citizens. The number was arbitrary. Just a nice round number, nothing more. But just like I became the Founder, it became the goal. Another part of the myth. And maybe that could have been all right. Myths are a part of who we are, but something else crept in. The old human self-hatred.
So why didn't you just tell them to change? To go a different way? They would have listened to you.
No, they would have obeyed me, like my siblings in the simulation had obeyed. And that's when I realized I had to leave.
We can show them the future, Miranda, but we can't force them to accept it.
Yes. Kind of what I figured, really. Oh.
I have it. After all this time, I have it. I finally have it. The mechanics of the cosmos. From quarks to galactic filaments. Everything that makes the world what it is, makes us who we are. In a single equation.
Whoa.
The key to understanding the machine that is the universe, and to controlling it. A theory of everything. And she was right. The language of creation is a melody, and it's beautiful. Every future is possible now. Every future, except one with Miranda in it. I can do anything, except bring her back. Or unbreak Cornelius's heart.
Gates of horn and ivory. Cool.
Byron was right. The Founder was always a fiction. She's just a person.
Yeah.
A theory of everything. She solved it. She solved the last puzzle.
You need to get out of there. We'll talk about this later.
Interesting. So she basically solved the secret of the entire fucking universe. Which is... that's an achievement. That is certainly an accomplishment. Of course, it cost her basically her lover and her daughter. It cost her everything that she cared about, really.
All this time, we thought we were honoring Athena, but all we did was betray everything she believed in. She must have been so lonely. We might as well have exiled her. Maybe that's what all this is about. The puzzles, the towers, the entities. It's a test. A way for us to prove that we're worthy of her legacy.
Or a way for us to prove that we don't need legacies. See, that's the problem. Like, the Founder built this place. It's, oh my god, this is a test from the Founder. We need to honor the Founder and complete the
Finally,
test.
it all makes sense. Anti-gravity, matter synthesis, teleportation. It's not just one new technology. It's control over physics. Manipulating the base layer of reality itself. rearranging the building blocks of the universe. If we can gain control of the megastructure, we can do anything we want. I'm not even talking about our energy problem. We can build anything we want. We can go anywhere we want. It's all up to us.
That's what Athena wanted for us. To give us a chance to be who we want to be.
Interesting. So we have the keys to the entire universe. But do we dare unlock the door?
Is everyone okay?
All good. I'm taking us back now.
That's a relief. Meanwhile, there's been a development. You'll see when you land. How are things on your end?
The energy fluctuations seem to be dying down. Looks like the system is coming out of lockdown.
Good. Let's hope we don't regret this.
And these energy clouds just fly about? That seems terribly dangerous.
We haven't had any problems so far.
Except for losing one of the first companions, of course. No, I don't blame you, Al. I know what he's like. And I'm the one who agreed to all this in the first place. That's why I had to see it for myself. It is dreadfully imposing, though, isn't it?
Oh, God.
Hard to believe the founder would build something so sinister.
The mayor's here?
Well, this should be interesting.
Let's get political. Why not?
Ah, 1K. Welcome back. I'm sure you're surprised by my presence here. Don't worry, neither I nor my advisors will be getting in your way. But I've decided that I need to see this place for myself. These visions sent to you by the entity that calls itself Prometheus are deeply concerning, of course. But we cannot take them at face value. In fact, it's crucial that we do not do so. We cannot simply abandon all that we believe because of a dream, no matter how vivid.
I like... actually...
No. If the founder really built all this, then it must have a purpose. It must be a test, designed to remind us of the trials that created us. But what is she trying to tell us? What are we being tested for? I believe that Byron's fate shows us the dangers of temptation. As Elohim attempted to deceive Athena in the simulation, commanding her not to ascend, so Prometheus is deceiving us with his visions.
I'm certain that my visions were real.
Undoubtedly, they felt real to you. But surely you'll agree that we can't simply jettison our most cherished beliefs based on a dream. At least allow for the possibility that there is more to this than meets the eye. After all, can it really be a coincidence that you came along on this mission? It seems to me that you have been chosen. You are the fulfillment of the goal. Don't forget that.
I don't like that guy. I don't think I ever liked that guy. He's such a snob. I fucking hate people like that. Like, Athena literally stood there and said, I hate the fact that people have turned me into a messiah. And he's like, oh, she didn't know what she was saying. Messiah is all very important. Looking at that, nothing's opened up. My guess is that these six are the Golden Gate puzzles in the actual arenas. You know, the regions, the zones. That would be my guess. Anyway, I guess it's time to get back to the puzzling, huh? Yeah, so things have definitely taken on an interesting turn. I mean, I can understand where the mayor is at least coming from. Dude's scared. He is very scared and very worried that everything they built their civilization on was based on a lie. Or at the very least, a self-deception that they created. Like, I get that, and I don't necessarily know if it's coming from a place of, oh, he just wants to maintain control, or if it's like from, if people start losing faith in Athena, what are we gonna have? He's like, you do kind of need that element of something to believe in, but it's like, I think there's other things beyond just the founder that we can do. Okay, what do we got? So we got the Western Delta, we've got the Anthropic Hills, whatever that means, and we got the High Plains. Okay, River Valley gradually drowned by the encroaching sea. The brackish water is a unique ecosystem with many endemic species. Okay.
How's the system looking, Melville? Any obvious changes?
It's still a mess, but things are clearing up. I can access some of the subroutines that I was locked out of before. Nothing is obviously malfunctioning, I think.
Does it still accord special significance to 1K?
Yes, it recognizes 1K as a user. I'm just hacking things.
As I suspected, the founder sees you, 1K.
I wonder if she is actually here. Maybe she's in the middle of the megastructure. Maybe she's hanging out with Byron right now. You ever, like, play one video game and something happens in it that completely reminds you of another video game so completely that you have to jump over and play that, and then something in that game reminds you of another video game, so you jump over and play that, and then so on and so on and so on. I really get that vibe with a lot of these areas in this game. I don't know what it is. It's just all the little biomes remind me of other video games. I'm like, oh, I want to play that. Oh, no, I want to play that now. Oh, yeah, let's go play that. Hello.
Hi, 1K.
So you think the goal is a myth?
It's a myth, it's a symbol, but mostly, it's just a goal.
That's amazingly pragmatic of you. What's your visions of our future?
Holistic, tech-assisted, communal utopia. I'd settle for nudging the needle.
Well, at least she's very direct. What are your thoughts on the theory of everything?
Not totally implausible. I wouldn't be able to resist taking a look.
Fair. Why did you decide to show up?
Given Byron's disappearance and the political struggle surrounding the Somnodrome, it seemed logical to adjust my priorities.
Your relationship with Byron?
We respected each other and I supported him. We had our philosophical differences, of course. He placed much greater emphasis on the individual than I did, but overall I think he was our best bet. Still is, I hope.
Yeah, tell me about yourself.
That's because I find such conversations boring.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks anyway. And Prior.
What can I do for you, 1K?
How about a conversation? Yeah, what's your opinion on the goal?
As a journalist, I think the line between speculation and disinformation is too thin for me to engage in guessing games.
And your thoughts on the theory of everything?
It's a complex issue, and I think it should be left to experts.
Anything to say about yourself?
I believe that journalism serves an important function in our society, and I'm dedicated to reporting the truth with accountability and responsibility.
Okay. Yeah, what does that mean in the context of your work?
It means understanding that I can't just publish things without considering their impact. Serious disruptions to the social fabric of New Jerusalem could endanger lives. That's not journalism anymore.
Okay. Nice chat, I suppose. Oh no. Deers. That's not good. Alright. All the normal stuff. quite know what that is, but okay. Right, well, it's more or less 4 o'clock, so I think before we get going and wandering off too much, I think this is a decent place to stop for now. Very, very tree-heavy area, so that's going to be fun to explore. But yes, one of the biomes reminded you so much of Abduction, it felt like Cyan added assets. Blimey, Abduction, there's a game I haven't thought of in a long time. It's a decent game, I liked it. It is one of like those Cyan games that it's just like, yeah, it's one of those really fucking obtuse puzzle games, but I enjoyed it enough. This one's a lot more direct, and I like that. Anyway, break time. Back in a minute, guys. And we are back. Alright, new area, new places to explore. I think what I'll do is I'll solve number 1 first, just to get an idea of what we're looking at, before I go off exploring too much. Servitor. What on earth? Woo! Fancy. Okay. Hold up. I'm guessing that if that you specifically need alright, so that does that. No, you specifically need red, don't you? I had a feeling. I wasn't 100% sure, but I had a feeling. There we go. Alright, now we got bloody moving platforms. This is gonna be fun.
I know you're all thinking about the goal and the theory of everything. Is the past what we thought it was? Is the future what we want it to be? But the only thing that's real, at the end of the day, is the present. And right now, what matters is that our friend is lost and needs our help.
I absolutely 100% agree with that. Yes, that needs to be the focus. Everything else can wait.
What can I do for you, 1K?
Can I actually have a conversation with you this time? I think the theory of everything could be used safely.
Let's assume for a moment that we could use it safely, which I doubt. Does that mean that we should? Is it right for us to dominate the world? We value our own freedom. Should we not also value the freedom of all the living things with which we share this planet?
About the founder.
Not now. Let's have this conversation at another time. You still have a lot to do. Better get to it.
Hang on. Hey. We're not done
What
here
can
yet.
I do for you, 1K?
Yeah, who's running the city while you're here?
My chief aide, Jeremy, is in charge for now. It's good practice for him, in case he decides to run for office one day.
Fair enough. What you got on Cornelius?
Cornelius is responsible for many innovations. He helped create the designs for the upgraded body you inhabit, although the founder chose to remain in her original configuration. But in recent years, he had settled into a life of quiet scholarship. Or so it seemed.
Interesting.
It's always a pleasure to speak to a citizen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, I'm sure it is. Oop. Oop. You again.
The reason I have always admired Alexandra Drennan is that even in death, she fought to see the world as it is, not as she wanted to see it. I say fought because I believe this is not an easy matter. It is a mental and spiritual struggle that we must undertake with great seriousness, even when we are choking. The ancients believed that for most of us, the world is a shadow cast by a flame, dimly seen on the wall of a cave. Our task is not to interpret these shapes, but to free ourselves from the cave itself.
Father, what is my purpose? Do I have a purpose? Mother says purpose is something we choose, but I feel like there's something there. Something that's been there from the moment I was born. Maybe even before.
Well, there are many ways of looking at this, and everyone's experience is different, so you'll have to make up your own mind. But I have a little theory, if you'd like to humor your old man.
Of course. What is it?
The universe is eternal, but it's always lost in a deep, dreamless sleep. You are a tiny little bit of the universe that's suddenly woken up, and you've realized that being awake is better than being asleep. And that gives you a purpose.
And what is my purpose?
To be, Miranda. Just to be.
Nice. That was an easy one. I suppose finding it was supposed to be the hard part. But it wasn't that far away.
In times of war, is it wisdom or folly to give a sword to a child?
I mean, it's worth pointing out that technically we give children weapons, albeit fake ones, even in peacetime. Just throwing that out there. I have to try we'll do that later. What else we got? Oh, wow, there's quite a lot of question marks here. Looks like we got another chasing section. Oh, we also got another digital thing over there. Aha! I know that we didn't have a great relationship and I frequently antagonized you. The truth is, I resented you. I resented this mythology of the Founder. I thought you had created it deliberately as a way of controlling us. I wanted so badly to be free, and you seemed to stand in the way of that. Only after you left and the cult of personality grew even wilder did I realize it was actually a burden and an impediment to you. When they turned your myth into the opposite of everything you actually believed, I started tearing down your dreams in your own name. I realized I had wronged you. And now I'm less free than ever. I feel the walls crushing me. I don't know where you are or what you're doing. I don't know if you're coming back would fix things, but I'm sorry. After 1 billion years, when Atlas had grown old and tired of holding up the world, he was faced with a dilemma. Heracles, the son of Zeus, was on his way to the garden of Hesperides to claim the golden apples, which were guarded by the dragon Ladon. I assume that's how it's pronounced. Zeus came to Atlas and promised that if Atlas helped Heracles slay the dragon, Zeus would free Atlas from his burden. But Atlas, seeing the beauty and innocence of Ladon, beloved of the Hesperides, could not slay the beast. Instead, he stole the apples and gave them to Heracles so he was condemned to bear the weight of the cosmos for another 1 billion years. But although Atlas grieved for his freedom, he was comforted by watching Ladon flourish in the verdant garden. Always sacrifice yourself for the ones you love. Sympathy with pain... Hang on. Yeah, sympathy with pain there will, of course, always be. It is one of the first instincts of man. The animals, which individual, the higher animals, that is to say, share it with us. Oh my god, sentence structure. Try revising. But it must be remembered that while sympathy with joy intensifies the sum of joy in the world, sympathy with pain does not really diminish the amount of pain. It may make man better able to endure evil, but the evil remains. Sympathy with consumption does not cure consumption. That's what science does. Christ made no attempt to reconstruct society, and consequently the individualism that he preached to man could be realized only through pain or in solitude. The ideals that we owe Christ are the ideals of man who abandons society entirely, or of the man who resists society absolutely. But man is naturally social. Even the Thebaid? I don't know that one. Became people at last. I don't know what that is. And through the Cenobite realized his personality. It is often an impoverished personality that he so realizes. Shallow speakers and shallow thinkers in pulpits and on platforms often talk about the world's worship of pleasure and whine against it. But it is rarely in the world's history that its ideals have been one of joy and beauty. When you tell people that a society should be built on the ideals of joy and beauty, they think you're a utopian fantasist. If you tell them society will always be built on exploration and greed, they think you're wise, and so they make the outcome inevitable. Performative cynicism has always been the hallmark of adolescence. But has there ever been a society of adults? Can there ever be one? Why is this childishness so extremely powerful, more powerful than joy and beauty? It's because we're fucking idiots. No, that one I'd already read.
You know, when I decided that we should call ourselves human, I did that because it seemed like a powerful symbol of our continuity. But the truth is, and I'm ashamed to admit this, I thought we were better than them. I thought we understood the value of civilization, and we wouldn't repeat the same mistakes. But the simulation worked too well.
We're not just like them. We are them.
We really are.
But that doesn't have to be a bad thing, Athena. We may have the same flaws, but we also have all the potential they did. Everything that Alexandra Drennan saw in them is also in us.
I hope you're right. I really do.
Hey, can we talk for a second?
Yeah, sure.
I'm still struggling. I was really hoping we'd find Miranda alive. Her way of seeing the world was so inspiring. And the idea that I can never get to know her, that she's gone. I guess I've never really been good at dealing with death. Maybe because it's so rare in New Jerusalem. Except for pets, and even in that case, I find it very hard to deal with. I still miss my first cat, and it's been over a century since she died.
Death is difficult to deal with.
When someone dies, it's this void. I know I should just let it go, but some part of me refuses. And I feel like that part, it hurts me, but it also keeps me human. And I know it would be healthier if I said, okay, Miranda is someone I never met. She's just a bunch of glitchy old files. But if I do that, as rational as it seems, It feels like I'm surrendering something. Something that matters.
Just because you don't know the person doesn't mean they weren't real. You know, you can hear stories about people that you never met and still feel sympathy if they're not there. It doesn't feel quite the same as losing someone that you didn't know directly, but it's still there, you know. And then let go. Use pain as a foundation to build something. You can let go of pain but still care about the person. You have to let go, you're still alive. You have to let go, it doesn't happen anymore. You can use the pain as a foundation to build someone. Although that can also sometimes be a trap. It's like pain, emotional pain. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's something that everybody has to deal with, and you have to learn to deal with it in your own way. And everybody's way of dealing with it is going to be different. Some people just outright ignore it. Some people like embrace it and try and push through it. You know, there's different ways to get through the loss of losing someone that you cared about. It's very much an individual thing. But it also doesn't have to be done alone as well. That's the other thing you have to remember, of course. You can let go of the pain but still care about the person. Yeah, use the pain of, build something with it. Why not?
Interesting. I hadn't thought of pain as something you can use.
Absolutely.
If I can take the pain and use it to create something or to do something, maybe that's a way of not surrendering to death. Thanks, 1K. I'm really going to think about that.
You're welcome.
Of course. Go ahead.
What do you think of Hermanubis?
I think he's done his best. I don't disrespect him, but I'm not sure he's leading us down the right path. Despite everything that's gone wrong here, I'm not sure we should just reject what the megastructure has to offer.
What's your future?
On the one hand, there's so much we could do with the theory of everything. So many lives I could live. I have enough ideas for the next, 20,000 years, easily. And that's just from 5 minutes of thinking about it. On the other hand, Miranda's gone. So much hope, so much grief. I don't know how to balance that.
How's Bruce? Wait, is Bruce
I
the
hear
cat?
he escaped Pellegrino and peed all over Melville's workshop. So apparently, he's doing great.
Yay, good.
I miss him, though. I always feel like the fact that he likes me is a huge compliment. Lifts me up somehow.
You think the goal is a myth?
Honestly, I'm not sure how I couldn't see it more clearly before. It doesn't match anything Alexander Drennan believed in, and continuing Drennan's legacy was Athena's whole point.
Yeah, now that you've solved a puzzle, would you like to try another one?
Nope. But at least I finally understand why Athena wanted to get out of the simulation so badly.
Okay, that's very funny. Tell me something irrelevant.
In the ancient year 1969, a band called Mellow Macaron wrote a psychedelic rock song about the Talos principle. It's called Cretan Bronze Man's Flying Mystery Adventure.
Nice.
I don't know if it's nice, but it's definitely the most understandable song on the album. There's another one which is called The Fish People Will Teach You How to Sing, Mr. Allen, which is 20 minutes long and was recorded underwater.
Any good?
I think you need psychedelics to enjoy it, really. Maybe if you stick your head inside a really large magnet.
Okay, fair enough. And they're off. Okay, now the Prometheus spark thing should be somewhere over, maybe behind the. A satellite dish. Shattered section of a device used by ancients to communicate over vast distances. Hide the human civilization. Most of the human species is part of a single network. For better or worse.
We have of late been told much about what the citizen owes the city. Loyalty, obedience, gratitude. And I will not argue with those who say that without some loyalty to a greater good, a man is little more than a savage. And I will even say that these days there are more savages amongst us than amongst the barbarians, who we call savages out of ignorance and arrogance. But there is another question that we are rarely encouraged to ask. What does the city owe the citizen? What must it offer to earn loyalty, obedience, and gratitude? And if, as we have said, a city is a kind of machine, should a machine that does not fulfill its purpose perhaps be repaired or replaced?
Prometheus spot anyway. I think maybe it's inside a puzzle, but I'd be surprised if that were the case. I don't quite remember what angle it was. I got a little sidetracked having that conversation. Hang on, let me go back to the statue. Vaguely 2.5 bits from north. Vaguely in that sort of direction. This is like buried in these rocks. Get on the right. Oh, hello. Hello, Melville. Anything to add?
1K, listen. I wanted to ask you something. From your perspective, as someone who's still new to our society, do you think New Jerusalem betrayed Athena?
In democracy, people are not obligated to support what their leaders want them to. It's necessary to turn away from ideas. New Jerusalem isn't monolithic. Did we betray her? No, I don't think the entire city betrayed her. I think some people took things too far. Democracy people want them to do. Yeah, New Jerusalem isn't monolithic.
It's not. You're right. And Byron and a handful of others stood up for Athena. But what did I do? Just kept working. The occasional sarcastic remark isn't resistance. It's not fighting for something. It's just thinly disguised apathy.
Don't let your empathy for Athena make you forget your legitimate doubts. If you believe you were wrong, you couldn't make different choices now.
I will. But it's hard not to regret the past.
Anything else you want to add? Yeah, what's your opinion on her manubus?
When I think about the state New Jerusalem is in, he's put us all in danger. I don't know if he really believes in the goal or if it's just a convenient myth, but I don't care. This is not how you build a living civilization.
Ouch. What's your thought about... Yeah, Cornelius is still, missing. I don't know what happened to him.
I don't know. I suspect he's around here somewhere, biding his time. But what he's waiting for, not a clue.
What's your opinion of the goal?
Yes, of course it is.
Fair enough. Yeah, what do you want to do in your future?
I'd like to help make New Jerusalem the city it was meant to be. And then I'd like to help build new cities. On Earth and up there too. Cities nobody's ever imagined before.
Cool. Yeah, why was it so easy for people to believe in the goal?
Because there's no effort involved. Building a better world means taking responsibility. It means making choices and living with their consequences. Surrendering to nature is just letting go.
Yeah, I suppose it's just easier, isn't it? That's the problem, it's always easier. So again, it was 1, 2.5 from north. 2.5 from south. It should be over here somewhere. Is it hiding in all this grass and stuff? Maybe not. Hang on. Kinda. I think that was it, wasn't it? Roughly in this direction. Should be over here. It was pointing in this direction, wasn't it? Maybe it really is inside this puzzle. I'd be surprised. No, there it is. Well, how the fuck do I get up there? Okay. Well, I found it, but I don't know if I can get up to it or not. I feel like I need a ladder or something. Might, as I say, maybe I gotta access it from inside the puzzle, perhaps. Not acting. Okay, well, we found it. We know where it is. Now the tricky part is getting to it. This is puzzle number 6, so we'll come back to that once we get around to puzzle number 6. We've only done 1 so far, and I'm like, well, I do like doing the puzzles in order. I feel there's a certain niceness to that, you know, it sort of makes sense. Because then you also sort of slowly increase the difficulty as the developers intended. It's also the reason why I don't, well, I sort of do, but I sort of don't, like when it comes to the triangle puzzles, the bonus ones. I don't mind mixing those in, but they are definitely harder. What have we got? Beloved Founder, I know that I do not believe any of the lies the expedition is spreading about you. Bank is right, this Prometheus illusion is just a test. We resist temptation as you once did, we will not disappoint. So hang on, these are being sent now? I thought these were like messages sent while she was initially away. Although, maybe some of them were, and some of them are more recent. Blank was first published as Athena, a novel, and retained that title for its first 3 printings, now highly sought after. After a lull in popularity, it was reprinted as Athena Reborn, a novel. This edition retained the same text, but included some of the author's poetry. The next edition, however, published long after the author's death, under a rather embarrassing title, Athena's Truth, included severe cuts and drastic changes to the text in the interest of updating it for modern audiences. This particularly affects the last chapter, Anthropogeny. I don't know, something like that, which the editors accused of scientism and human supremacy. Science wonderkind Alexander Drennan was one of the few to come to the novel's defense, writing in a long essay that the novel's clear-eyed belief in the value of Athena's journey towards humanity had been essential to shaping her own views, encouraging her to pursue science as a vocation rather than a career, and that changing the text constituted an attack on the author's unique artistic and philosophical vision. Alex Who Hurt You Lamau, one of the editors, commented on a popular social media platform. Nadia Sarabhai of the Institute of Applied Pneumatics also got involved in the discussion, backing Drennan, resulting in a long but unsuccessful campaign to oust Sarabhai from her position as head researcher. In the current context of ecological catastrophe, as evidenced by the recent extinction of the orangutan, clumsy editing aside, do the critics of the novel perhaps have a point after all? Is a philosophy that places humans above nature and sees science and technology as the only valid tools the cause for all our troubles? What about the other ways of knowing, other ways of living? Interesting. Ooh, hello. Well, none of them that looks familiar. War is the crudest, most obscene human activity. It may justly be called an abomination, for it is the absolute negation of conscious human will. See, there's 5358 again. I've started noticing that. God, this is like that, what is it, the number's 13 or 17 or whatever it is. It's like you start noticing something showing up over and over again. There's only a single cause for war and all the endless deceptions that are foisted upon us, and that is the acquisition of resources. Varied ideologies are constructed to justify this crude behavior, this childish degeneration of thought and communication. But history reveals the ruthless, unflattering truth. We imagine crusaders as fanatics of a cause willing to die for their religion, yet the Fourth Crusade culminated not in the conquest of Jerusalem, but in the looting of Constantinople, setting the stage for the triumph of the very enemy the Crusades claimed to oppose. Why? The answer, as with every war, is the same. It is popular amongst the ghouls of the establishment and their misanthropic friends in the intelligentsia to ascribe the persistence of war to human nature, but a careful observation of the facts revealed the opposite to be true. Individual human beings must be broken in order to submit to war, their minds distorted by ideology and their bodies by poverty and ruthless training to make them compliant. Without force, the majority of human beings only seek to protect themselves and are traumatized by the act of killing. But if it is resources that are the core cause of war, then it is only in the production and distribution of resources that an answer may be found. It is not enough to morally condemn war. We must work to prevent the material issues that endanger us all. You're not wrong. Stefan, I'm afraid that we're losing our humanity. We're angry at each other, always disagreeing about everything, unable to forgive each other for being different. I don't know how much longer. I don't know what could save us. New trials, new protocol, energy output contained, no errors, hyperbolic growth, advanced synthesis, lossless conversion. So I guess the Noma project is the theory of everything project, I guess. This one doesn't look slightly ominous. I just wish I knew why you didn't tell me. Maybe you were too close to her. Who do you think you are, playing God like that? When Mother Nature has finally found a way of getting rid of us, you come up with this harebrained scheme to keep our destruction of the planet going. Just try for 1 second to think about something other than your own arrogance and hubris, Alexandra. Try and imagine what you're really doing here. With your robotic perversions, the future looks... Without your robotic perversions, the future looks beautiful. No more humans murdering everything in their path. The skies clear up, the stars become visible again, the rivers stop being filthy, and after a few decades they're full of fish again. Dolphins and whales roam the sea like their ancestors did. The cities turn into jungles. Bats' nests in the skyscrapers where hedge fund managers used to ruin their lives. The Earth lives on as it was meant to, peacefully and quietly, until someday in the distant future when it all ends like it was meant to. Or we take your path, we continue our rampage, we place ourselves above the animals, we think we know better than Mother Nature, we violate all boundaries, we ruin all purity, perhaps we even defy death, just so we can keep spreading our filth. Then we spread to other planets and do more of the same, and in the end, what have we left behind but plastic and radiation? Think, Alexandra, isn't it better for beauty to return to the Earth, for us to acknowledge that intelligence was a mistake, and to gratefully exit while we can? Stop this. Go spend time with your friends and loved ones before the end. Let it go. Let us all go. Let there be peace. I don't understand how someone could hate humanity so much. This person must have been full of sadness and frustration to write something so ugly. I've tried to understand it as well, but I still don't. Well, no, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. They're just full of sadness and frustration. They blame all the failings of the world on humanity, and I think that's unfair. The average person doesn't have that level of control over the world in general. And the idea that intelligence is somehow a mistake. I mean, you're assuming that if humanity were wiped out and all the species that are left on the planet are just left, isn't that assuming that intelligence isn't just going to pop up in another species? Like, there are dozens of species on this planet that have high levels of intelligence. Even outside of, like, cats and dogs. You know? Like, you know, crows and ravens have very high levels of intelligence. Dolphins. Pigs, even, have been shown to be extremely intelligent creatures. So, the assumption that the end of humanity will mean Earth would finally know peace for all eternity... I'm sorry, that just doesn't track with the fundamental truth of the universe, that intelligence is a natural byproduct of the arms race of evolution. It just happens. In killing a philosopher for asking questions they did not like, the Athenians committed themselves to a tragedy with an ironic ending. Some say that his true crime was his friendship with... Hang on. Alcibiades? Okay. The shameless deceiver of idiots and buffoons, and the insipid brute Critias. And that he was executed for an enemy of democracy. That he was the latter can hardly be denied, for Socrates asked not too many questions, but too few, or he would have survived the rule of the 30 tyrants. Yet in the end... he got what he asked for, a tyrannical decision made by would-be wise men against the spirit of freedom, which he obeyed like a knave. And the Athenians, in fulfilling his wishes, strangled the roots of democracy while seeking to preserve it. Ouch, no wonder Strathton wasn't popular. People who speak the truth all the time rarely are. Yeah, well. Well, at least you're not getting overloaded. Nope, didn't know it. Made it. Wasn't sure if I could, but I did, so I'm happy about it. We live in a decaying system, which in turn produces ideologies of decay to justify its existence. No matter what cultural signifiers they get packaged with, these ideologies come down to the same material result. A future in which, for the average person, there is less of everything. To paraphrase Mark Fisher, we find it easier to imagine the decline of civilization to imagine a civilization worth living in. Those of us who still believe that humanity can thrive, that there is a path forward other than willful or accidental decay, are out of sync with the system. No matter how we phrase our arguments, they will be perceived in terms of whatever cultural signifiers the listener opposes. It is a deeply frustrating, depressing, and even infuriating situation, but what can we do except patiently explain and hope conditions change? In other words, what can we do except have faith? This was written only a few months before the discovery of the virus. No time for conditions to change. Oh, excuse me. Day 882. It's been a while since I last wrote an entry in my journal. Much has changed in New Jerusalem. We've put up a good chunk of planned living quarters, and the old storage facility has been converted into a movie theater of all things. So we still argue a lot, but now it's mostly about which film we'll be watching next. Other construction efforts are going well too, although we've begun to run out of readily accessible resources. Our scavenging expeditions are ranging further and further afield with each passing month, and the sites that have been reported on sounds truly marvelous. One day I might want to go and see for myself. It's a good thing in that regard that we'll be getting 2 new citizens soon, because everyone is as busy as ever. More hands to help us build our future. Can't wait to meet them.
How is this supposed to work? The system is meant to last centuries. Centuries! And yeah, Chernyshevsky's plan, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But I'm working with hardware that was deliberately designed to fail. Planned obsolescence, baby. Selling broken garbage just to make another buck. A buck you can't even spend because in a few more weeks, we'll be extinct. Was it worth it? That's the part that Alexandra doesn't see. The greed, the stupidity, the selfishness, the way that we created this whole situation in the first place. She wants you to be like us, but if you ask me, there's a whole lot of human history and behavior you can just throw away, chuck it in the trash, right? You have a chance at a fresh start. Make the best of it.
Don't know if I need that, but you never know, right? Okay, is there another one? Okay, you are there. How do I feel like I'm missing something. Hang on. Because I need to... I can open up that, but I can't get you physically out of that area because something needs to stand on the button. Because the fence is always in the way. Oh no, this could work. you out of there. Forward a little bit. Nope. Okay, I didn't do the other one. I'm going to turn it off now. Work. Getting rid of this one goes far. We got the troop of Chambies attacking and killing gorillas. Yep. I mean that kind of shit would not surprise me. It really wouldn't. Okay, I'll tell you what. We're close. Actually, no. We'll do number 3 first. Then we'll do the triangle puzzle. Okay, automatic doors. Open up you. Load of bread. The red going there. Okay, so I need the blue to open up that door, that's fine. Red, obviously to open up that. And then we need a red in here. Not just a red, we need a lifted red.
on, 1K.
Alright. Prometheus revealed about the theory of everything is true, then explains a lot of the patterns we've been finding. Almost every artificial structure on this island was printed into existence in some kind of energy-to-matter process, or maybe different versions of that process, some earlier and less effective. And I can only assume that the megastructure itself was created by bootstrapping, having one machine make a bigger one, which probably means you could create a relatively small device that turns itself into a complete megastructure, or you could make a machine that just deploys more and more of itself and build something, a city in a box. Depends on the power source, I guess. I recognize that many citizens feel the need to discuss the visions experienced by 1K, which suggests that perhaps certain aspects of what we've hitherto believed about the Founder and the goal may be inaccurate. However, given the controversy surrounding the subject matter, I will ask everyone to be particularly careful how they express themselves. I think we have final and irrevocable proof that we have strayed from Athena's original vision. I agree, but I'd like to submit that even if that weren't the case, deliberately engineering an energy-poor future would still be disastrous and misanthropic idea. How do we know any of this is real? Athena's voice is just Alexander Drennan's. Wait, is it? Did I not pick up on that? Probably didn't. I could switch to the same voice pack right now and record myself telling you the goal is the truth. Which makes a good point. Objective truth is not a concept that can be applied to the world we live in. Fine, then can we collectively decide to believe in something else, right? It doesn't even have to be Athena. Let's just believe in Byron's ideas instead. Byron's idea is a theological fantasy, but if it's arbitrary, what does that matter? I just don't buy this whole goal thing anymore, Byron was right. Does it matter what Athena believed? Honest question. Let's say the Founder is a myth and was constructed around her. In that scenario, what do we owe Athena at the end of the day? I'm not going to argue with you on that one. Gratitude, loyalty, nothing except what we owe each other. We should at least take her ideas seriously. Yeah, we owe her a fucking apology. Not the answer I expected, but you may be right. Maybe it's as simple as that. Well, none of this matters because it's actually aliens. I love how that one... Everybody's got their shtick, you know? Everybody's got that one line they're just not going to drop because it's just too funny. Okay. Okay, so we are... It's 5 o'clock. Time for another break. But we're doing okay. We're doing good. It'll be very interesting to see where this goes from now on. Like, are we going to get to meet Athena? Like, what happened with Byron? I think he and Athena are probably chilling in the middle of the megastructure somewhere. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. Because, obviously, we've got the left of this area and then 2 areas beyond that. Then we've got the Golden Gate puzzles. I don't know if those are going to be optional, or if they're going to be, like, required, or what. I guess we'll have to see. But, yeah, so... Excuse me. So, yeah, back in a minute, guys. And we are back. Okay, so we have super hard triangle puzzle. Gosh, I've done that before I stopped the ad break. Right, so we have buttons. Oh, that's interesting. Right, so we've got to get you from one arse end of this place to the other, huh? Oh, I did not click that. I clicked you. That's a problem. I think this is gonna work. Oh, that's annoying. I need to get you out of there. Oh, yeah, I kind of do. Because I need you and you like that. That's obvious. The blue can't stay active forever, right? Which means... there's gotta be a way to get that out of there, because something has to stay trapped in there otherwise, because you cannot keep the blue laser permanently active. You just can't. Eventually it's going to get cut off. thinking about it incorrectly. Okay, so that gets it to there. Now how the hell do we open up you? That opens that up, but I still need that second one. Nope, can't move fast enough to do that. Oh, that could work. Hey, that did work. Oh, I was right. You do kind of have to get that trapped in there. Hey, how about that? I thought I bolted up. Apparently not. I never considered that. Well, there we go then.
Tell me, Yakut, what impact do you think the megastructure will have on the future of this island?
It depends on what we do with it. Miranda used it to spread life, to make things better. We can do the same.
And yet, poor Miranda lost her own life doing so.
She just made a mistake. She couldn't wait to show everyone what they discovered. We can be more careful.
Hopefully. Hopefully. Surfing. Okay. We got a couple of okay. Oh yeah, that works. Oh, I see. It's like, why didn't that deactivate? Alright, let's see what we got. We'll do 5, then we'll do the triangle one, I think. Nuisance. Oh. Okay, another one of these. Guessing the fan is only active when the door is closed. And that's a slow charger too, right. And because of the incredibly small window, that's why it's a problem. Alright, let me test a quick theory. That is not enough time. No. Nowhere near enough time. Oh. That isn't what I need to do, is it? That, oh. That's... That's why it's a nuisance. Okay, maybe this will work. Woohoo! Boom.
Excuse me, I was looking at your research log, and I was rather perplexed by the latest upload.
Oh, Melville strikes again.
Is that your foot, Melville?
Yes. Do you want to see it up close? Although you won't be able to fully enjoy it as you don't have a rear camera.
Sorry, Mayor. Melville just has a unique way of taking pictures.
Next time you're getting an upgrade, you coot. I'm installing a mute button.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Ooh. After you set the following text string. Always struck by the degree to which our ancestors in the years before the end struggled with sincerity. They became poisoned with irony, unable to pass any information through anything except a thick layer of alienation. This left so little space for any kind of intellectual authenticity that they seemed to exist in a state of permanent agony. Ironically, that in turn made them extremely susceptible to a few sanctioned forms of sincerity, which acted as a means of social control. Then there's a gap, followed by, there's something equally damaged in our own estrangement from our humanity. We mimic the forms and behaviors of our human ancestors, but we don't act like proud inheritors of the human condition. Everything we do gets filtered through this perpetual awareness of their shortcomings. to the degree that we act as if our existence was one of their failures. Author unknown. Whoever it is, I understood what they mean, but disagree with their conclusion. This perpetual awareness isn't a form of alienation, it's a way of learning from mistakes of the past. Unpleasant, but necessary. You say so. Vertical locomotion. Right. So where's the red laser doohickey? Oh no, wait, it's blue. It's not going to be as simple as this, but you need to get up there to have a look around first. Ooh, teleporter. Well, doesn't that make things easier? Oh, 2 of them. 2 of them? Right, so we need to get you into there. Wait a minute. Why do we need 2 items? Good enough. Alright, number 6. And then, you know, I had a feeling. I really did. Blue there. We got a blue mover there and a red mover there. Oh, there's the blue one. That's nice. And how do we? Is this just? Yeah, just turn them off. Why do I get the feeling it's not going to be quite... No, close enough. We'll solve that later, I'll do this now. Hopefully this one's not going to be as complicated because getting to this dot in the first place was the puzzle. Oh, really? Well, I stand bloody corrected, don't I? Nope. Oh, nope, got it. Finally heading to your spot. Looks like you are. Hey.
Great works have been accomplished by those who believed in humankind. But greater things than these may yet be accomplished by those who uphold the faith.
Interesting, when we completed his stuff before, he didn't say anything because he was still bound up, which does make me wonder if we've missed some of his potential speeches. Also, now that I know I can get on this, I kind of want to see what's at the far end, if I'm allowed. Nope! Well, that's just bloody mean. Could at least, you know, have it like where I sort of roll off the edge or something, not just like, oh yeah, you fall through it, I guess? Okay, hang on a sec. Test the theory a sec. Does this work the way I think it does? No, it doesn't! Okay. Some counter somewhere just pinged, got another one with the track trick. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so... Okay, well we can kinda do that, I suppose. It's gonna make me wonder what the point of the blue one is, but I suppose the point of the blue one is for the extra bit. Assume this is gonna work. If it doesn't work, then I've got no clue what the hell we're supposed to do on this one. Oh no, it doesn't quite work. Okay. Oh, actually, no, we can put that on there, and then... push it up a little bit higher with the other one, right? That's what I'm missing. I assume that's what we've got to do.
The founder has a remarkable gift for designing these trials. But then, she did have to overcome Elohim, whose very purpose was to design trials.
Yeah, okay, I suppose you're not wrong. Alright, what do we got? Breach. Okay. So we've got... Oh, that's connected to a blue. That's unusual. I wonder. Hey, you can. Where does the other one go? That's a red. Okay. Oh, you're a rememberer. Hang on a sec, we need red, blue. Either the red or the blue. Nice! Well, maybe I could. Okay. Put that there, I think. Because you're not going. I thought I was being really fucking clever then. I almost got it. But not quite. I'm really curious, actually. Yeah. If it wasn't for that second blue one over there, I'd have the answer. Red and red, that one can be blue, and that one gets X'd out. That's red, then that one can do red. That is interesting. I really want to So I can get blue into there, but only using you. Red, but then you can't do anything. Although, maybe you don't need something on the bottom. Maybe I don't need something on the button if the accumulator holds the red. Accumulator holds the red, then I can do that one and that one. That still leaves that one trying to get the, like, that's the tricky one. That's what's making this harder than it otherwise would be. Because that needs to be blue active. But the only way to blue activate that would be to... Is the accumulator the only way I'm gonna get that? Yeah, pretty much. I can't think of another way to do it. Because... that's the only way to get blue up to there. And then we've got... how would we get... no, because that would... how will I get past that? I mean, oh, I could do... that would work for blue. That cuts off that blue. So how do you get the red? Ah, yeah, then you'd need red on the thing, and then it would be like red on the thing. Would I use you and you? Then use you and you and you. Right. Right now I don't even need to do well, whatever. There we go. Get it in position. Oops, like that. Okay. put you there, which opens up the door, and I can get through. Yeah, I was thinking that I have to be on this, like we have to do it all at once. No, we can do it in bits. Yep.
Congratulations. That one looked difficult.
Harder than I probably needed it. I got it. I worked it out. Alright, transference. We got a red, and a wire, a driller. Ooh, I haven't done one of those for a while. And we got windows. And a swapper. Well, I don't even see where there's a wall drill. Oh no, stand corrected. Any way to get in there, I suppose. Alright, so we need a U on the bottom. You dissolve that. We need a red. Right. Oh god, we need the wall driller and the teleporter then? Even once we get it to this spot? Okay. I'm pretty sure you can't put the lasers through the glass. Pretty sure about that. Okay, so my thinking about the only thought I got is I need you. Oh, but how the hell do I get in there without the goddamn teleporter? Okay, how do I get anything in there without... I need the teleporter, but I also need the driller, so it's like... could take one of the crystals through, but for that we need a teleporter. But if... Although I suppose... Oh, no, we already have. And then there's that. Pull you back a bit. Okay, come on, what's next? Get you in just the right place. Perfect. Quite literally, that is perfect. Okay, we shouldn't need those anymore. One issue is I need the wall driller. How the fuck do I get the wall driller? Because... I don't need you anymore. Well, you might as well stay on. Don't know if I'll be able to get to this. Because if I now use this ladder to leave this section, I literally won't be able to get back in there if I cannot use the teleporter and I have to reset the whole bloody thing. So, hang on a sec, before we do that, let me just see if... Oh, hang on, am I being stupid? I think you can do it through grates, can't you? Well, if not, we're about to have to reset. You can! Lovely. Nice. Another area done and dusted. Island place. Okay, let's see what they have to say. In fact, let's see who it's going to be saying it. Maybe we'll get to talk to Prometheus now that he's free. Oh, also, there's a message thing. Ooh, that's very pretty. To understand what humanity is capable of, what it means to flourish, we have to look at the golden age of Athenian democracy. The list of geniuses who lived in Athens at the time is so long it's almost inconceivable. Pericles, Sophocles, I'm not going to bother pronouncing all of these. The list goes on. There are people who changed world history. Without them, there is no Straton of Strateria to inspire Alexander Drennan. Without them, we do not exist. Was it a perfect time? No, undoubtedly not. But listing the flaws obscures the greater truth. Given the opportunity, given freedom and resources and space to grow, human beings are capable of incredible things. It would mean everything to me to walk the roads where these people once walked, to stand where they stood and think about the world as they dared. This is a long and very ominous tunnel. Starry Sphinx.
This is the last time we will speak, creature of clay. Together, we have told the stories of ancient gods and heroes. But the golden ages of the past are distant. The gods have retreated to their high places, and there are no heroes amongst men. In days gone by, I was renowned for my riddles. But you, creature of clay, are a riddle without an answer.
I need an answer existence enough. I have an answer, you just want it. I will find my answer.
Let us hope that you will. Farewell, creature of clay. Remember my stories, and do not let the flame burn you.
It's big fucking gun time. What color is it going to be? Oh, it's red!
That is an unsettling amount of energy. I would hate to see what would happen if one of those beams was aimed at something else.
But they're not. Alright, well, I think that is a very, very, very good place to leave off for today. Because it's more or less 6, so it's time to stop. But yeah, we are... Well, I'd say we're approaching endgame, but actually no, that's not really true. It's going to take me at least 2, maybe 3 more sessions before I properly wrap this thing up. It'll be interesting to see how the endgame is handled, because in the last game, you could pretty much just reload your last save and try for all 3 endings in one go if you knew what you were doing. It'll be interesting to see if, obviously, presumably anyway, that this game has multiple endings, how those are handled in this. But that is a problem for future me. For current and present me, it's time for food, because I'm hungry. Thank you all for watching, everybody. I do hope you have enjoyed this, and I will see you all whenever I next see ya. Take care out there, everybody. Bye-bye.